It's a big weekend on the Hill at the U in Salt Lake City. Big football game tomorrow night. Tonight, big volleyball match. UCLA Bruins visiting the Utes at Huntsman Center. Pac-12 volleyball presented by Tachikara. A couple of weekends in the books. Pac-12 standings starting to take shape, and teams starting to beat each other up. Just a couple of teams left undefeated in conference play. USC, Arizona State, UCLA, part of a big pack in the middle that'll start jockeying right now, in Utah at 1-3 through their first 4 matches. Thad Anderson and Amy Gant at Huntsman Center. Amy, good to see you again. And tonight, UCLA comes in as the road team. They're 5-0 on the road this year. Last time they came here, it didn't go so well.
They were swept last time these two teams met back in November of last year. But UCLA, a different team, and they have been on fire this season coming in. They're looking for a big win against the Utes.
Utes starting a 4-game homestand tonight against UCLA. The Bruins, for them in the starting lineup tonight, a little something different.
Right, Jessica Namo last week in their win against Washington State, she came off the bench in that third set and was on fire. In fact, she catapulted herself into the starting lineup, so we'll see a lot of looks from her. This is a player who had only played in 5 sets all season long.
And the story for Utah volleyball this year, it's a young story, a lot of freshmen making impact.
And Coach Lanier really trying to find which team belong which position, moving players around. Berkeley Olbad started in the opposite position, but has since moved to the middle, and that is where she's going to stay. She's been fantastic, especially in the blocking lane, working her way, getting involved in every play, and they're going to need that against a big UCLA team.
A lot of talented underclassmen for Utah volleyball. They will face an experienced UCLA squad next. Pac-12 volleyball.
Farms, now in your freezer aisle.
Time for volleyball at the University of Utah. Tachikara presenting the Bruins and Utes tonight. 5 matches on Pac-12 networks tonight, and we are the first ones out of the gate from Salt Lake City. UCLA on the road. Head coach 6th season Michael Seeley deploys this group. Anderson, Namo, Enoy, Felix, Frager, Chandler, and Formico, the starters for UCLA, as the visitors inside Huntsman Center. And 26th-year head coach Beth Lanier counters with Anai, Kirst, Shudrow, Oblad, DeYoung, Jorgensen, and Sutton. Jorgensen among several to note. The setter moving into a starting role. Young setter for Utah. She'll be in the starting lineup. Utah is going to have serve to start. Honors go to Megan Shudrow. Got her first career start last week. What did she do at Oregon State? Tied a program record with 5 aces. Shudrow opens the match. And she goes service error. Amy looking at me in the jinx implication.
No, not blaming you at all. But obviously, Utah wanted to start out tough with a tough server. That's not exactly what they got.
UCLA takes a point, takes a serve with Ryan Chandler, the setter. Attack will succeed for Utah, and where did they go?
Dora and I think we're going to hear her name a lot. She has quickly become the go-to player, and talking to Coach Lanier, she said, she's finally embracing it. Anai knows she's the player that's going to get the ball, and she's coming around to really take that leadership role.
Libero tests Sutton serving. Great serve, puts UCLA out of system, and now Utah chance to take the lead. And there she is. We talked about Berkeley Oblad moments ago. She answers with point number 2 for Utah.
Berkeley Oblad spent most of her time in high school in the middle blocking position. She moved to that opposite position earlier in the year, but has since moved back and is very comfortable, doing very well, both offensively and defensively.
Back set, Bruins miss on swing. That was Jordan Anderson. The error out of bounds, and it's 3-1 Utah.
Jordan Anderson going in the opposite position, miss hitting that ball, and obviously you never want to bring that up, but clearly when you talk about sea-level teams coming to the higher altitude, that may be a factor.
Good attempt for Jenny Frager, played up by Utes. Another try in the middle for Frager. Ball kept alive, but not going to get it over the net. Utes finally yield to a couple of middle attacks by Frager.
And talking to both these coaches, they really felt like this match tonight would come down to who could side out tough and really execute. They didn't want to let the other team get a lot of runs because both these teams have struggled with that so far this season.
Serve in from Carly Drolson. ES for the Bruins. Dig is over, and Berkeley Oblad feasting at the net. Her second kill of the night for 2 Utes.
One of the best things about being a middle blocker is taking advantage of those overpasses, and when nobody's up, that's the best kind of swing.
Amy, do you feel about 11 feet tall when you do that on an overpass?
Feels pretty good. Because that ball's usually over the net anyway.
You're looking down at everybody. You're picking who you want to hit with the ball. Sort of payoff moments of all the hard work you put in the middle to Oblak. Berkeley being leaned upon by the Utes early. This is out. The Utes take point. And a +3 on the scoreboard.
Utah's really controlling the serve right now, and that's allowing their block to line up well because passing for UCLA is struggling a bit, so the block for Utah has a lot of time to see where the ball's going.
Kendall Segan served it straight down. Good swing from Brager. A nice quick set. And UCLA gets a point they need to stay tight here in set number 1. Frager, one of a bunch of Bruins out of Torrey Pines High School. Cheeks tape and gets it over. Tough ball for the Utes. Free try here, going back to termination with Haley Lawless. Lawless puts it down.
Lawless really elevating well over this block. So we get a good look at that net play. That's a textbook serve right there. You could do that every time.
Middle to Carly Truman. Nicely dug for UCLA. They can't convert the point. Another attack try for the Utes, and that ball touched near the back line. Dora Anai credit the kill. Diving dig try earlier, a great dig. This time Drolson, maybe that ball was going to go out.
Looked like Drolson really patrolling that back line really well for UCLA, working that sideline. It's a tough position to play, and she's been all over the court.
Drolson, senior, another Torrey Pines High School grad. Active on defense, big block, Utah. You know, Coach Lanier told us we're known as a good blocking team, but when you and I saw him a couple weeks ago, she said we weren't a blocking team against BYU. We've been learning and growing, and they're one now. She's sort of known as that, but we got to earn it. And we're not just a good blocking team because historically we're a good blocking team. Up and down, well played on the slide for Felix. Claire Felix terminates a team-high 347 attack percentage, and Felix catches in for the 5th point for the Bruins. That sends Rachel Enoy back to the serve line. Had a career-high 3 aces last weekend against Washington State. She's a threat at the serve line. This played by Anai, set by Segan. Truman hit it, and the Bruins have a chance. Back set after Chandler tried the attack on her own on a skin ball set. Chandler set back, and Ute the net again. That's important for Utah if they can get big at the net like this. Have a good night.
On this play, Katoa comes in off of this dig and gets right up on that slide attack to finish that ball off and stay with her hitter.
Quickly back to Claire Felix out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Felix led the team last year in percentage, leading them again. It's a go-to player, a stabilizer. Felix gets him back within 2.
Well, and running that slide has been so good for her, but the pass is so important whenever you want to run behind the set like that.
Tip coming down to the floor, goes Eliza Katoa for the Utes. Big arm for Jordan Anderson, that's played up. Formico set it, and off the touch by Utah. That's a point. UCLA.
Jordan Anderson finishing that play off with a lot of power. She definitely has that in her swing. Every time she goes up, she is going up looking for the kill.
So gets a try to the floor, keeping it alive is Formico. Another attack coming from Utes. That ball paintbrushed down by Brenna DeYoung. Brenna puts it away. And Utah keeps that couple-point advantage, 9-7 Utes. In comes Jesse Jorgensen. Jorgensen takes the ball as Vasily looks on. Jorgensen serving. Their team up by 2. Ball in play. We welcome those of you who just joined us. Just finished watching USC defeat Arizona State 2-1 in women's soccer. Looking inside Huntsman Center. Thad Anderson with Amy Gant. Utah is set number 1, hosting number 12 ranked UCLA. Utah has a home court advantage of a +3 in the scoreboard. We just settle into set number 1. Jordan Anderson leading the team in attacks, getting plenty of those so far tonight. Utah finds a way to pinball that over. If you're the road team, you get boos out of the crowd. If the home team, you get some cheers for that not getting called anything. This ball sails just long with no touch, out of bounds. And UCLA pulls back within 2.
Both these teams starting to figure each other out. You can see the rallies going a little longer as defensively they're dialed into what the hitters are doing and sticking to their game plan.
For Felix, big smile on her face as she checks out of the match. This ball is sitting back off the swing by Emma Kirst. Anderson off this set from Ryan Chandler. Jordan Anderson, West Virginia, the last couple of years is where she played for the Mountaineers, and she is making an impact in Pac-12.
Definitely after UCLA graduated Carson Lowe last year, who was the primary offense weapon. Anderson has come in and filled a big hole and been a great addition to this team.
Katoa passed it, Katoa got it back and scored. Bruins can't keep that ball alive. Eliza Katoa, one of those important pieces of the youth puzzle, and like so many, she's an underclass student, sophomore Katoa. In fact, Utah, 11 of their 17 rostered players are underclass. They're sophomores or freshmen. Katoa, one of those, just scored. Chandler sends it out to Jordan Anderson. And there's the Bruins block coming back. The swing by Adora Anai. Big presence at the net. Jenny Frager.
Jenny Frager moving well along the net. She gets into close, gets those hands over and presses. Great block from UCLA. Now
a 1-point set, and there was touch. You can hear it over here. And the line judges do have touch. Is put up on the board for a Utah point. Back to a +2. Feeling UCLA creep up on them. They get within 1. Utah fight them off here. They might get to point 15. Nobody taking a timeout. The team is really pulled away early in set 1. Nobody calls a TO before the 15th point. There will be a stop in play for a breather. Going out to Anai, and that is down. Adora goes big.
Adora Anai getting on the swing early. You could see the ball died a little inside. That could be cause for concern because of the big block, but she attempts to cut it very, very inside court and gets it.
Tess Sutton served it, and that ball up. That's back row violation for UCLA. The serve put out of sequence. That's what caused all that. Tess Sutton back to the serve again. Leads the team in digs per set at 3.74. Had 27 against Oregon State, 24 digs against Oregon last week, and a big block again. Going up, Olad, flanked by Anai. Point 15 for Utah, and a timeout on the floor. 15-10, the home team. Playing the number 12 team in the country. Utah off to a solid start, set 1.
Water. Natural with no added hormones or steroids. Foster Farms, now in freezer aisle.
Sunday, women's volleyball play heats up as the number 12 Bruins take on the Buffs.
Austin with the drive.
Sunday at 11 on Pac-12 Network.
Pac-12 women's volleyball is presented by Tachikara. We got the ball. You bring the game. In about 24 hours, that place is going to be rocking. Who am I kidding? In about 8 hours, it's going to be rocking with camping out. Cal coming to town tomorrow to Rice-Eccles Stadium on the campus of the University of Utah. The number 5 ranked Utes football team hosting Cal, ranked 22 or 23, depending on poll. Big showdown on campus tomorrow night. And Utah volleyball team trying to get the week off in style. for Utes Athletics, up 15-10 on UCLA, and set one to the middle. And working through the defense, Jenny Frager. She's looked pretty good in the middle, and that's important right now because UCLA had just 0-38 into that last timeout.
6 hitting so far in this first set for UCLA. That's just points they've just given to Utah. They really want to get their offense moving, and there's no better way to do that than to establish the middle, and then that'll open up your outside hitters.
UCLA got back within 1 point, and then Utah reeled out 4 in a row now to that timeout. UCLA gets a couple of points.
And 2 quick points again from UCLA as we see the hitting error just missing that back corner.
Utah was at 300 as a team. Efficiency before the timeout. A couple of misses. They can right the ship there with Dora Anai. The sophomore birthday was last week, turned 19 on October 1, celebrates with a kill.
And a good set to the outside. You can see how it went all the way out to the antenna, allowing Adora to hit the ball down the line. There was a good hole and a great set.
Gets the serve into the hands of Kendall Segan, the senior. Gregor had to adjust and send that ball over. Tipped by Anai. Going to get another chance for the Utes. Segan back to Truman. Popped it and sent it long. Maybe a little indecisive on that.
Definitely a miss hit. Truman trying to keep the ball in play so he didn't hit it as hard, but a little spash to the back court.
There's one I appreciate. Our conference call yesterday, she was in bed chugging Theraflu. So Lanier fighting through illness on the bench in her 20th season. She's watching her team get another solid swing. What a great set number 1 for the home team. They've come out looking solid against UCLA.
And UCLA, or Utah, because they're passing well, they're able to run a couple combinations. You could see on that particular play, Carly Truman came in, surprising the block for UCLA. Didn't see her coming around.
And I served it. Again, an adjustment. Claire Felix had to get away. And Katoa is blocked. At the net for the Bruins, Claire Felix with Haley Lawless.
Thinking when you go up against a player like Claire Felix at 6'6", you good look at those arms. You can't just go up and wildly swing. You got to have a smart swing. Maybe try to attack the arms, hit the high hands. If you will attack those high and deep, you're going to expand the court and get the kill.
Great move by Utah. We saw Truman with the awkward attempt, a couple of attempts ago. Now they've gone back to her next grip and go right back to somebody, let him get back in rhythm. A couple of kills for them.
Well, I think what Utah wants to do is really split their offense. You can see them attacking both antenna, back forward to really move around the middles for UCLA.
The A sealing it up. There's Berkeley Oblad putting the ball down on her serve, and that brings a timeout from Michael Seeley. Ace right on the back line. Berkeley Oblad, a middle, a freshman, aces, and back to a +5. It was 15-10 at that timeout. UCLA out of the timeout, got a couple of quick points. Utah, in this set, they've done everything that a coach could want. They came out looking strong, got a lead. That lead was reeled in, and they stood their ground.
They did, and Utah coming off what initially would think is a rough weekend. They lost 2 heartbreaking matches to the Oregon schools in 5, and talking to Beth Lanier, I said, oh, that hurts, rough weekend. She said, actually, no. Those losses, although hard to have, they gave us confidence. The team feels good about the progress they're making. They feel like they're right in this. They're right on the path that they want to be successful.
They played 10 sets, 2 matches last weekend, and lost them both. That's a tough weekend. You see their past success against the Los Angeles schools. Past success is, I guess, not the right term for that. 2-16 all-time against UCLA, 2-13 against SC. But what have you done for me lately? Last November, not only did they beat both USC and UCLA here in Huntsman Center, they swept both of them in November. Part of that great run that Utah made to get into the postseason last year.
Well, and I think both Beth Lanier and Coach Seeley have the long view of the season. They want to be at their best in November. They want to be constantly building, getting better every single time they step on the floor.
Nice job, Amy Game, my partner. Your pre-match comments on Berkeley Oblad. Now as we push in, a nice shot of the freshman. Berkeley has been important in set number 1. She's out of Henderson, Nevada, Coronado High School. And you called it. Berkeley is going to work. Of course, as I did at the start of the match, I talked about her, and I didn't bring that serve out of bounds, but unfortunate timing. Berkeley sends it out, and the serve goes over to UCLA. Berkeley checks out now for the Utes. Into the serve line goes Jessica Namo, the other player you talked about pre-match. Deep rundown for Tess Sutton, and UCLA's got to try here to get within 3. Well defended, but nothing doing for the Utes on an attack. Ball pushed out to Anderson. Good block hands, got it up for the Utes. Truman punches it down to the floor, goes Namo. Into the net on the attack from Brenna DeYoung, point to UCLA.
And that set finished that off for Utah. That really low, so it was difficult for DeYoung to keep that ball in play. But great defensive effort from both sides of the floor to keep that rally going.
Namo serves again. Back set to Truman. There's Namo on the dig. Chandler out to Anderson. And she missed it. Out. Anderson now with 15 attacks. That is a match high for either team. They've gone to her 15 times. She's hitting about -100.
And you can see just how many of these swings are just missing that back line. And you never want to call altitude as your excuse, but there is a factor when you're playing in these the higher air, the ball is going to float more. It's not as heavy, and so you tend to hit out a little more. Maybe your serves float out. So all of these low altitude teams have to be aware coming into places like Utah that they've got to adjust their swings.
Here's that number 2, Jordan Anderson, got it through the block. She was all Big 12 last season, led the Big 12 in kills and points per set. Now playing at UCLA. Overhand dig by Namo, then to the floor behind her. Illinois. Punched up. Good communication from Formico, but that all ends in the hands of Utah. Big at the net again. 21-17 Utes.
Jordan Anderson on the outside for UCLA is a big arm, and she swings, and sometimes if she gets blocked, she swings hard. And so talking to Shealy, he said, we're working on her to manage her game. She's got a big block in front of her. Maybe you don't go for the kill every time. Keep it in play, allow your defense to keep it going.
On cue, she went soft at the tip, and Utah was ready for it. Back-to-back blocks on Anderson have put the Utes up by 5.
Anderson trying to make an adjustment here to go for the tip, but the hang time from the very physical, very tall Utah block just isn't enough. And she gets subbed out and gets to think about it for a minute. But look for her to come back in because they really need her offense.
Out of bounds on the swing. That last replay you were just talking about, Emma Kirst went anti-gravity. She hung on the tip. I don't know how she kept herself high enough to play that ball off the tip, but maybe the altitude coming into play. She had less resistance and stayed in the air, and then UCLA follows that up with a hitting error. They're hitting -027 in set number 1, and in some trouble here, and they're out to set point now. They're going to face 7 consecutive set point opportunities here for Utah. 24-17 Utes from launching out of the gates. Served by Megan Chugro, and a whistle and a net violation is going to end set number 1. Net contact puts point 25 up for the Utes after a couple of 5-set losses on the road. Utah gets home and gets what they wanted to set 1 win, 25-17 over UCLA on Pac-12 Networks.
You're watching Pac-12 Mountain. Home A&M dealer, take advantage of the yellow tag event today.
1 set done, 1 set won by Utah. The Utes on their home court, 25-17, taking UCLA in set number 1. And on to set 2 we go. Thad Anderson with Amy Gann on Pac-12 Networks. Glad you're with us tonight, Amy. What's your thought on that 25-17 outcome in set number 1? We're going to take a look at the stats here, but I want to hear more about what you saw as we get into set 2.
Well, I think Utah came out and really dominated from behind the service line. And it all starts from there because then UCLA can get into anything offensive. And then the block for Utah was able to just get in there and shut it down. And that left UCLA without any confidence and no offense.
That block got significant there at times, key times. 5-2 the blocking count in set number 1. Utah only hit 194, but that'll get the job done when you hold your opponent to negative 053.
Exactly. For UCLA, the unforced errors, giving away 11 points in just that 25 set. It's just, you know that Coach Seeley's talking about with his team. Make Utah earn it, he's going to say. Let's come out, put some pressure on them, make them get their points. Let's not give any more away.
So you talked about the solid serving, and you're right. But if you just look at the stats, if I look at the stats, and I don't know as much volleyball as you do, and I go one ace, right. I was serving so important, I only see one ace.
Right.
What were they doing?
Exactly what you're seeing. It's not about getting the ace, it's getting them out of system. If you only have one option as a setter, then the block can easily go over, put up a really well-formed block, and shut down.
Into set 2 we go, and we start off with a Utah point. Adora Anai begins the scoring. After good floor work by Megan Shudrow to keep that ball alive, Anai the beneficiary. And serving now is Tess Sutton. Mentioned her 51 dig weekend in Oregon last weekend. Was good defensively in those 2 5-set losses. Here goes Shudrow to the floor, and she can't get that one played back up. Frager has been a bright spot the early going.
Well, exactly. The middle and the opposite running quick for UCLA has allowed them to get kills. Unfortunately, the passing hasn't been there that they can really execute and use them as much as they want.
Back it comes to Emma Kirst. Chance to take the lead for UCLA, and they do. Well done by Bruins, just efficient. Riley Bushler working the pin. Serve from Carly Drolson, and put down by Jenny Frager.
And there's where Utah has the opportunity to really get Utah in trouble. The service game is so important as it sets the stage from the beginning.
Mentioned I had a birthday last week. Frager has a birthday next weekend. She'll turn 21. She's having a good match tonight. Utah gets back on the scoreboard. Oblad. Another kill. How about Berkeley? 3-2 now. Utah serving down by a point. Berkeley Oblad. 3 kills, 4 attack at 750. Just a little too soft on something creative from Haley Lawless. Missed it.
Well, that's a tricky play when you're struggling to get offense going as a setter. You want to get everyone involved, but when the pass doesn't allow you to, sometimes you're forced to press a little bit too much, and that's what we saw.
And just an out-of-sync attack right into Frager. Really can get into her swing, and I pushed toward the back line. Big sails back over to UCLA. Another swing, back-to-back try for Haley Lawless, and she missed it out of bounds.
See Lawless going up, trying to avoid that big Utah block. She did have a lot of line to hit into, unfortunately just pulls it a little to the right.
Bushler had to try. Utah will send it long and out. Truman.
It's interesting to feel the tempo of both these teams. It's very slow, not a lot of quick attacks. It's both these teams, neither one really taking control and saying, I'm going to dictate the tempo. I'm going to come out with the momentum and go on the attack. Both these teams are waiting, holding back.
That is wide and out of bounds from Adora Anai.
And with this is the second hitting error in a row for Utah as they continue to give ball back to UCLA. And this is an important time in this second set because either team has the opportunity to come out because both teams seem a little quiet, seem a little out of step.
Oblad tried to slide, didn't get it down, and point to UCLA. Bruins get back on top by 2 now.
So you get a good swing down the line. That tough ball to read, and you can see the defense for Utah was way sucked in for the tip.
Now ball coming to me. That's not where they want it, in my hands. Bruins get the point. UCLA stepping it up and setting them 2.
quiet and slow. You could just see the movement in that serve. A lot of float, taking advantage of the light air. You can get a good float serve up in places like Utah because you can just see how it moves, and as a passer, it's very difficult to stick with it.
Frager got the ace, and then a service error. Frager checked out, grabbed a drink. A nice serving. 7-4, or make it 7-5. UCLA now 7-6 UCLA. Ball gets down. Ace comes from Anai.
Adora Anai with his float serve as well. You can see the bottom drop out of that ball as it crossed the net.
15th ace of the season, now tied for team high with Kendall Segan. And that's interesting. Frager went ace error. Now Anai goes ace error. Let's just talk about that. We don't mind a 1-for-1 proposition on aces and then service problems. We just saw each server do that.
Well, as you get more comfortable, you feel like you can take more chances. However, you really have to be smart at when, not just how many miss, but what rotation are we in? Is this a good scoring rotation? Do we have the team on the ropes? All those go in play with how difficult you choose to serve.
Bushler comes back and uses the block. Good finish there by Riley Bushler, whose maternal grandparents both went to UCLA and now carrying on the legacy with a kill.
Bushler getting a swing off the hands, and in order to do that, that set had to be pushed all the way to the antenna. Had it died inside, it would have been a ball.
Toe into the floor, pushed by Anai. From middle into the net went for Jordan Anderson. Jordan just hasn't been able to find it yet tonight. That's 19 attacks for Jordan. She has 3 kills, 7 errors, and -211. Jordan's a very good player. In fact, you and I were talking earlier, no UCLA players were selected to the preseason all-conference team. Jordan Anderson from West Virginia last year is a player we think had a chance to get on that team tonight. You've not seen it yet, but could be a matter of time till Jordan gets it going. Claire Felix carrying on at the net. Big presence for UCLA. Segan gave it to Young, and UCLA going to put it in the hole there. Placement test is passed. Jordan Anderson, you were talking about it. Coach Seeley said she's got a repertoire. She can't always just hammer. She's got to do some different things, try different shots.
Right, exactly. And what that does is not only get a kill, but now the defense has to think. They don't go back and say, oh, she's going to hammer every single time. I can be back in my house.
Surprise, Kendall Segan, who has over 2,000 assists in her Utah career, decides to go with the kill.
See, the perfect example of a campfire defense. Everybody standing around, nobody going for it. Right in the middle of the floor, it falls. That was
minimum elevation off the hands of Segan, too. The way she played that ball, really, sometimes you do that and you send it a little too high, give too much reaction time. That was over and down. I like what they're doing with Claire Felix and Jenny Frager. Really, both of them have looked good for UCLA. They've done well so far. Trailing 1-0 in sets, now up 4 in set 2 in points. Use those middle well. Tough ball, not going to save it. Ace coming over, UCLA getting the steamroll going now. Taylor Formico leads the team in aces. That's one there.
You talk about the middles for UCLA. Look for Frager to get the ball out of transition for UCLA.
Back-to-back for Taylor Formico. Came in with 12 aces on the season. Give her 2 here in the last 32 seconds. Piling on the stats. Anai handles this one. Otoa from the set by Jorgensen. Long push by Anderson. Outside, a traditional swing for Jordan. Jorgensen. Toa is blocked, ball still alive. Sent over by Jesse Jorgensen. And that will end it. Get it to Frager. End the point. That's point 15. Up by 7. UCLA, after dropping set 1, answering loudly in set 2.
Hi, I'm Kyle Whittingham, head football.
The Utah Utes. You're watching Pac-12 Mountain.
We are in set 2. UCLA at the timeout has the lead by 7, 15-8 in set number 2. But Utah has the 1-0 set lead in this showdown at Huntsman Center. Thad Anderson, Amy Gant. Somebody who's joined us. Kim Turner, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Kim's hang out with us here for a few minutes. You're here for the reunion night, 40th year of Utah volleyball. Congratulations on your induction to the Hall of Fame last year.
Thank you.
And have a great time with this weekend's activities.
Thank you.
What's shaping up for the weekend here?
We got a big program after the game tonight, a big banquet, and gathering of sorts and sharing stories and fun times and accolades over the years. And then we have a football game and children's party tomorrow.
So a lot of free food involved, right?
Yes.
Ample food body.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Kim, thanks for joining us. We'll have Kim right along with us as we work our way through set number 2. UCLA comes out same old in set number 2. They score again 16-8. Bruin have a double-up lead on the Utes. Jorgensen out to Kirst. Jorgensen again out to Kirst, tries soft. One of the longer points of the night is going to end with Jordan Anderson. Kim, you're not necessarily living real close here anymore.
No,
the Lone Star State, right?
Yes, San Antonio.
What have you seen in set 1 and this portion set 2? What's your take on tonight's match so far?
I think the first set they made really aggressive and got a lot of attacks and kills, and I was impressed with the freshman full blocker. I always gravitate to that position, but I'm really impressed with her skills.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Berkeley Oblad in the early part, and we saw her on our screen a lot. She's one of a number of young players, a heavily underclass roster here in Utah.
Yes.
Have you talked to Coach about, I know you talked to Coach, but you talked much about this year's team and sort of the process of building for this team?
I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet this weekend. I'm looking forward to hearing her thoughts, and I was looking at the roster, and they are a young team, and I just see a lot of bright years ahead of them in the next couple of years to really win a lot of ball games.
Well, Kim, as Utah's first All-American, which you can hang on your hat there, but building that program, when Coach Lanier was from the beginning, you were there right as it started to really flow and come that national powerhouse that it is. What does it take to build the program? What has made Utah so successful over the past decade?
I think it comes down to recruiting. She's had a lot of great recruiting years over the seasons. I think Beth is a student of the game as well, always learning new ways to coach, and I think she takes those young players and knows how to coach them and prepare them for volleyball. And she's got a great program, and it comes down to recruiting and dedication and just the volleyball players buying into the process of we're the Pac-12 and we want to win. So
from our last timeout, it was 15-8. UCLA comes out and gets 3 points, and Utah calls a timeout 18-8. Now there's Beth Lanier trying to work her way through set number 2. Do you have, this is hard to answer, I'm sure, but I won't say a fundist, but what are some of your more fond memories of your time playing volleyball at Utah?
Oh, that's a good question. There are a few snippets of really big games that I remember, but most of it happened off the court, camaraderie with the team, and I can't pinpoint one.
Just a general body of experience that will stay with you forever?
Yeah, you're with a group of girls on road trips and bus rides and hotels and hours and hours of practice, and so it's the funny inside joke story that stick with you almost more than the intensity of the games.
UCLA keep rolling 19-8 now, up by 11. A wipeout in set 2. First swings it, dug by Formco. And now Jordan Anderson dialing it in. Everything working for UCLA.
We get a good look at Jordan Anderson on the outside, taking that big swing down the line with just a one-on-one block. And Kim as a middle blocker, how difficult is it as a middle in that blocking system when the other team is in system?
Very difficult. You have to really train your eyes, and that's hard to do when you have 3 attackers coming at you and you feel bad for leaving your outside hitter stranded, but it takes practice.
It is, but Utah known as a great blocking team for years.
Yes.
What does Beth do differently to help her teams consistently year in and year out be one of the top block teams in the nation?
I know when I was there, we spent a lot of hours practicing blocking. You've just had coaches hit into her hands over and over and over again, and a lot of eye work, and you have 3 attackers coming out all the time, so it was practice and it was drill, and she takes a lot of time of blocking because it's a big part of the game. She's got a lot of height this year to use to her advantage. It's a lot bigger than when I was there.
2 Sweet 16s in the history of the program. 40-year anniversary, 40-year reunions you're here for. 2 Sweet 16s in 2001.
Yes.
You were a part of that.
Yes.
Got through the first couple of rounds, and 2008 was another year the team made it through. Adora Anai is one of the real center points of the team this year. Last year, a talent. She broke a record that had stood for a dozen years, set by you in 2003. 25 kills was a Utah best, and Adora got 26 this year.
Yes.
She's part of a great young pack players who Beth Lanier has said, we're going to need some time.
Yes.
But what have you thought of Adora in your early exposure to her?
No, part of me was sad to let that go, but part of me, most of it was really proud that the youth program is on the rise, and they're rising up at a really high intensity level, and so I'm proud that that record can be broken by a high caliber athlete. I think she's got a great swing. It's a nice high swing and she moves the ball around a lot, and that's really hard to scout an opponent when she's moving the ball so frequently.
Kim Turner, Hall of Fame member here at Utah in the athletic department and the first All-American in program history. Kim, you've got some activities at the intermission to be part of. So enjoy the reunion weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's Kim Turner who helped pave the way for some of these players we are seeing now. Helped create a blueprint of what is called the red print here in Utah, the fantastic program. Beth Lanier approaching her 500th career victory. Also 498 is where the meters sit right now for Beth Lanier. Trying to get to that 500 mark. Just trying to get to 499 tonight, to be quite honest. I'm sure she doesn't care about 500. She'd like 499 against UCLA. He's got a touch on that last ball. 21-9. Saw a 9-0 run by UCLA. Utah broke that finally. Long way to go. Anderson. He's going to get another try. Net contact is the call, violation, and touching the net was Jeff Jorgensen. So 22-9 UCLA. All right, realistically, Utah, if you're thinking this one through, you're not going to win this set. How many points are you hoping you score before they get to 25 for momentum?
It's not about the points, exactly like you said. It's about momentum, and it's about confidence, and it's about going into the break feeling like, hey, we can come back here and we can get done. Right now, you can see the difference completely in UCLA. They are fast with their approaches. They are getting after the ball. They're more confident in how they're attacking in the offense. And conversely, you can see Utah just struggling offensively, not able to get anything going. They only have 4 kills in this second set.
Serve is long, and Utah gets in double digits. 10th point. Michael Seeley, 6th season, won the national championship in his 2nd year at UCLA in 2011. Last Pac-12 team to win the national title. Bruins 11. Miss there for UCLA, gives another point over to Utah, and again to the serve line will go Tess Sutton.
So UCLA just wants to shut the door. They want to hurry quick, get their first ball kill, and get into the break with the momentum so that they can come back in that third set.
Rundown for Ryan Chandler. That worked out. Not sure how the Bruins got that fish. Lawless gets the point into the net when Utah kind of gave it up. UCLA, who was out of whack on the attack drive. In set number 1, UCLA hit negative 0.53. Here in set 2, they're at 4.17. A complete turnaround offensively on the attack. Tight pass, tough play to Jorgensen. Bushler tries to end it. We're on set point in set 2. UCLA trying to even things up into the intermission. Good dig by Bushler. Outside to a and she finished it.
Utah speeding up their offense. You can see that ball shoot to the outside. The go all the way out there is going to open up. It keeps the middle blocker from getting out there, so she has a ton of cross court to hit into to get that kill.
Match high 8 kill for Adora Anai on 18 attacks. Segan served it, set point. And we've got, we'll call a net contact. Yeah, I think she did, and that means each set has ended on a net contact call. UCLA in the net ended set 1, and Utah in the net ended set number 2. Neither one of them controversial, as the margin of point difference was big enough that nobody's going to argue too much. It was long, but Utah violation gives 25 to UCLA, the number 12 ranked in the country, and notably the number 3 team in the first RPI release. The RPI came out this week, and UCLA sitting at number 3. USC number 1, Texas number 2, and this 12th ranked Bruins squad number 3 in the first RPI release of the year. Intermission 1-1. Head coach Michael Seeley joins us. Coach, what did you see in the first 2 sets? Tale of two different matches. They were ready to play in set one. We were sleeping, and it kind of switched in set two. So I expect both teams to go here in the halftime and regroup and kind of start the match over.
Coach, you hit negative in that first set, and they came out hitting close to 400 in the second set. What did you talk to your setters specifically about getting the offense going?
Absolutely nothing. It was just, it was a horrible first set. It's just, hey, after the first set, after we lost, we walked the bench and said, hey, match starts now. Let's just start over.
Well, silence in the locker room might work out well then, too. Good luck with the
thank you, Coach.
1-1 after 2 sets, thanks to Coach Ely. We'll talk to Coach Lanier as we work our way through intermission. We are even at 1 apiece. Pac-12 volleyball presented by Todd Cara, Bruins and Utes.
Event today.
Good evening and welcome into our San Francisco studios. I'm Katie Boggs with your Pac-12 intermission report. Let's start off with a big top 15 matchup happening over in the Big Ten. Number 3 Penn State, number 12 Illinois. We'll start in the first set. Nittany Lions up 12-11. Megan Courtney with huge kill down the back line. She reaches 1,000 kill, 1,000 dig mark. Only the 8th player to do it. Later in the first set for Penn State, Ali Faniani here with a huge kill. They take the first set. That match currently in the second set. Meanwhile, in the SEC, number 17 Florida hosting Texas A&M. Gators trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Second set, Florida took the first. Maggie D'Agostino sets up Ramat Al-Hassan, gets a kill down the middle. Gators take first 2 sets, and we go to the third. D'Agostino with another assist, this time setting up Simone Indui for the kill. Gators win in just 3 sets. Speaking of 3 sets, third set from Huntsman Center, Utah Utes, number 12 UCLA Bruins, coming up right after the Sports Report update. Stay tuned.
Foster.
Intermission tied 1-1. Head coach Lanier joins us. Coach, what did you talk about in your locker room?
Well, this is a sign of a young team, what happened between, first set and second set. And I thought we played just a very nice set in set 1 and just kind of controlled stuff and played steady and confidently. And then we got stuck in rotation and had some passing problems. So we just talked about, upping the energy again and staying confident. And, through this, we can get on streaks both ways, unfortunately. But, I think we played very good volleyball in the first set.
Hosting the number 12 team tonight, ranking-wise, number 3 RPI team. And on Sunday, you got the number 1 team in the country, both in ranking and RPI, USC. And you're hosting the 40th anniversary reunion of your volleyball program. It's a busy weekend for Coach Lanier, and she's fighting a little something. And she did a great job with it. You saw the hitting splits for set 1 and set 2, a complete role reversal. UCLA negative 053 in set 1. Utah only 194, but they won the set. UCLA goes 423 in set 2, while Utah drops to a negative 034. You said that, Amy, we were talking during the intermission. Really a flip-flop and just sort of a hard match to get a grasp on for the first 2 sets.
Well, it is, and if break volleyball down to its just basic core things, it's serve pass. It's always going to be a serve and pass game. This is a great example because both teams traded when they went off the wrist passing. They were able to not get their offense going. We can get a look at stats. It's almost going to look even because each team kind of had a set where they really excelled and then struggled. And so the hitting percentage, both teams want to be well above 200 to be able to run their offense the way they want.
UCLA finished set number 2 with a 15-4 point run. They came out and got the first point of set 3, and Oblad goes to work, evens up the score, and Oakland now featured a serve line. Jordan Anderson uses something different than the big hammer. She's got a powerful arm. There she goes soft.
Jordan Anderson with change-up here, and for UCLA it will be great for them if they're outside hitters, if those pin hitters can get going, because so far the middles have been the ones that have really gotten the job done. Jenny Frager hitting over 400 with 7 kills. A great bright spot for this team.
Solo work by Riley Bushler.
Bushler's player 2, hitting 3 for 5, no errors, and a big solo block.
Isolated on that edge against McCurst. Bushler wins. Sweet. Get down to DeYoung and lifting to try to keep that alive. But then Brenna DeYoung will not prevail over the power of Jenny Frager.
Frager did a nice job hitting off in transition and noticing that ball was right there. So she didn't have much of approach, but she did what all middles need to do, and that's be up quick and available.
Set was a little wide for a 9. Now this set is outside the pin and can't bring it back. Haley Lawless tried, but put it off the pin, out of bounds.
Coach Lanier really trying to figure out as her team continues to evolve just what pieces need to go where. She's teaching them constantly, trying to get them to follow the game plan and to learn in this Pac-12 setting.
So when Lawless went to save that ball up against the official stand, some equipment popped out from behind the pads, and that's why.
Well, it's very important to put that away, especially given the frequency that UCLA uses that slide approach. You don't want the middle landing on anything out there.
And there's some self-members of our Pac-12 Network's crew helping stow away the equipment. UCLA answers with a point, 5-2 now.
Lawless with a good hard swing, a lot of intensity, a lot of power behind that swing down the line.
Lawless, at least 5 kills in 9 consecutive matches. She has 4 tonight, going for a 10th straight 5 or more kill match. Utah keeps it tight. Adora Anai. Out goes Megan Shugro. Anai goes short right at the 10-foot line. Bushler pushes it over. Segan and Koa went to the floor. Now it's Chandler outside. Bushler off the hands. Punched up by Truman, but will not stay alive. Bushler has been solid on the attack.
Bushler's been very solid, and you can see Utah finally picking up one of those tips from UCLA, getting that to fall, but UCLA's been very successful changing it up. They're throwing in a few tips, and then they get back and swing hard, and that keeps the defense off balance.
+3 on the scoreboard for UCLA. Make it a +4 on the block. Ryan Chandler gets to celebrate alongside Claire Felix.
Ryan Chandler getting up there and taking that ball away down line to get the block.
Served by Rachel Enoy. Into the net, low on the swing went Carly Truman. Block looked to be in the line of Truman there.
Well, and the adjustment. Obviously, Truman, that set not where she wanted it. That's the time where you keep the ball in play. I like what Coach Seeley said. He said, teach them the traffic light system. If you have a green light, that means everything's perfect. It's time to go for it. It's time to hammer. A yellow light it's not the best swing. Keep the ball in play and allow your defense to dig around it and transition out.
This team's got a 4-point lead at set number 3. We're even at 1 set apiece. 8-4 UCLA on top in this 3rd set. Reaching for it and getting it over was Felix. Made something out of nothing. Nice adjustment by Claire Felix.
Well, and that tip again and again has really caused Utah defense a lot of trouble. But UCLA keeps going at it until it gets stopped. Keep going.
Served by Bidler. Swing by Truman, that was true. We've seen that happen a couple of times for Harley. She has an off play, not necessarily her fault. We talked about that set on the last go-around, but they've gone back to her and let her rebuild confidence.
Well, Carly Truman does a nice job when she has that approach and everything is perfect and going, but unfortunately with volleyball, you're not always in sim, it's not always the perfect place. You have to learn how to manage your game and on which sets to keep that ball in play, better the ball.
Jessie Jorgensen served it, and now Tess Sutton digs it again. Sutton defensively on fire. Give that point to Tess Sutton.
2 huge digs from Sutton. First one down the line, she gets pelted, and then again comes in for base defense, and team's able to repay that incredible effort with the kill.
I don't know if UCLA is still in awe of Sutton's work, but there's a huge hole down the middle. Now again, the softball is going to work, and Utah having some trouble getting to the middle part of the court.
The tip again, right over the block, and you see those wing blockers. They really need to talk. A lot of times it's your off blocker in the front row, the one who isn't involved in the block needs to come in behind and pick that up.
Toa adjusts, she tries off. Anderson swings away and gets it off the hands of the overhand big try by Jordan. Then UCLA into double digits, 11-6. They're up +5 in set 3.
I like how UCLA is attacking. What they're doing is they tip over the block, and that allows the wing defender come in, but then they hit the ball hard down the line, which surprises the defender again.
Wow, that was kill face from Berkeley Oblad. I mean, she had the expression, she had the swing. That was awesome.
That set was that pass right to the net, so she's able to run that quick set all the way to the end 10.
If we have her expression on tape, I want to see that again. Freshman getting after it. Chandler sets Anderson, gets it through again. Jordan Anderson has leveled out her game nicely. She struggled through set 1, part of set 2. But Jordan's starting to show why she's been the go-to attacker for UCLA this season.
And she's been getting her kills a lot of different ways. We saw her hammer a ball down the line. This one very well controlled to that deep corner. She's tipped a few, just showing she's got a lot of range.
Now a match high, most on either team. Anai has 10 for the Utes. Anderson has 12 kills to lead all players. Another try. Rolls along the tick. Anai. Jorgensen, but they give it away from the back row. Bushler. Triple block. Good shot from Adora Anai. Goes with the claw and scores.
I think Adora Anai was thinking that Utah was going to run a lot quicker set to the outside. You could see she was already on her second set. That set too high, but she's finally able to get a kill.
Oblad put it in. Block from Anai. She was there with Brenna DeYoung, but that was Adora who worked her way out on the swing. Good athletic adjustment. Here come the Utes.
You can see Adora Anai jumped a little early on that play, but hangs well in the air and is just able to get that ball.
To the net goes UCLA. Pick up the point. 13-9 now the Bruins. Beth Lanier. Berkeley Oblad coming to the bench. Carly Drolson takes the serve. Torrey Pines High School. 4 different Falcons, Torrey Pines High, on this UCLA roster. It's a little wide for Anai. Tess Sutton is zoned in set number 3, and Anai uses the block for a point. Tess Sutton, the libero again. 13-10 now.
And it wasn't just Sutton got that ball up, which would be a great touch anyway. She got it up in a position where they could run a great play, and so she bettered the ball, making an incredible move.
Received by Drolson, outside Bushler, blocked up, and the bounds. Carly Truman tried to wiggle her way underneath to keep it alive. Gotta like the desire by Carly. I like the smiles on the faces of the players. A number of the UCLA players in their bio information, they talk about part of what they love about volleyball, having fun on the court with their teammates. When players are still talking about having fun at this level. You can't let that get out of the game. That's got to be part of what you're doing. UCLA has a 5-point advantage. It's reunion night at Huntsman Center, 40th year of Utah volleyball.
Home of the Utah Utes.
10:30 on Pac-12 Mountain.
Tonight, UCLA is trying to move to 6-0 on the road this season, and to be on the road Sunday. Our crew will move along with them. A pivotal women's volleyball duel. 12th ranked UCLA and the rising Colorado Buffaloes back to the receiving votes category of the poll. Coverage begins Sunday at 11 on Pac-12 Network, or watch on Pac-12 Now and pac-12.com. We'll revisit those standings. UCLA at 2-2, Colorado at 2-2. So it's going to be a big one on Sunday as these teams work to be in that upper half of Pac.
Well, it is. Talking to Coach Lanier, she said it's not a matter of losing, because in the Pac-12 you're always going to lose. It's how do you respond and move on and get better after each time. So I don't think any match in this whole conference it's never an easy match.
Utah sitting at 1-3 in the Pac-12 standings, trying to get a big win tonight over the 12-ranked Bruins. Back to action we go with UCLA up by 5 in set 3 to the floor. Well done for Utah by Megan Shigro, but Utah not able to convert.
And for UCLA, Buechler is just having that solid, steady night that UCLA has needed all season. She has limited her errors, played great defense, passed well, and been a leader on the floor. I think she's been a big difference, a quiet difference for UCLA so far this evening.
So this error makes it 16-11. And Frager into the net on this serve. His pass is coming in right to Chandler. Truman sailed it bounds. You mentioned the altitude a couple of times, and you said nobody likes to make that an excuse. But I like that Coach Seeley, he acknowledged it. He said it's real. We go on this trip to Utah and Colorado. The altitude's a factor, and among other things, your lungs and your energy. But it's 4,657 feet of elevation here, and it's more than that in Colorado. And I like when a coach is, I'm not going to try to act like it's not real. And you've mentioned it a couple times as far as even the ball dynamics in this air.
Definitely you feel as a player who played at higher elevation, going down to those sea level teams, you felt like you could absolutely hammer a jump serve and everything was going to go in because it's just a lot heavier. So the top spin serve really works well down there.
Serve from Rachel Enoy. Katoa. Answer tip by Buechler. Riley Buechler puts it down, and that's a timeout for Utah. Buechler, 7 kills in the match. That is third most on her team tonight.
And again, UCLA with the tip right over the block. You can see the defense always seem to be surprised for Utah, and they cannot get up.
Beth Lanier holding court with her squad, and we just looked at those standings. Utah at 1-3 in the Pac-12. They were in this same spot last year, started 1-3 in conference play, and made their way to the NCAA tournament. Same spot this year. Among the pivotal moments after that 1-3 start, we talked about November when this team and USC came to town. They swept them both last year, UCLA and USC. So the 1-3 start, no reason to panic button, but you got a young team. If you're Beth Lanier, you've mentioned it a few times tonight, it's about where we finish,
right?
Not where we start. Can you imagine how much classroom is going right there in that huddle?
Well, and talking to Coach Lanier, she said, I don't know if we'll be able to do what we did last year where they won 7 of 8 matches to finish off the season. But she does know that she's got a very talented athletic team with a lot of young players who are really bought into her vision and what this team can be. And so she's excited about pieces. It's just about putting them together.
Here's a look at the 26-year accomplishments, just a few of them for Beth Lanier. Last couple of seasons back in the tournament. 15 seasons with 20 or more wins, and I do like the fact that we've got 32 years of combined head coach experience on the floor tonight. 26 for Beth Lanier, 6 Michael Seeley, and the total number of schools they coached at between them, 2. Beth Lanier, her only head coaching job right here. Michael Seeley, his only head coaching job right there at UCLA. And for Michael Seeley, he won a national championship as a player at UCLA, as an assistant coach at UCLA. Although he told me, asterisk, he left in the middle of that season to go to Hawaii as associate head coach. They were 12-12 when he left the men's program. They went on to win championship. So leaving actually helped them get back to where they wanted to be. And then he won as a coach 2011 of the women's program. Awesome contributions at UCLA to Michael Seeley to the volleyball program. 20-11 now UCLA off of this block.
In the big block, UCLA is very physical as well, and they can move well along the net and be a big blocking force.
It's a little more how they want it to look on Utah's side of the net. Carly Truman spreads a big smile after that kill.
Truman came around on that combination play. That's the second time that's worked for the Utes.
Truman with 4 kills in the match. It's 15 attacks, which is tied for second most of the team. They've gone to Truman fairly frequently. Good hands to the net. Try it again, but Buechler's going to win that one. I really like what Buechler's doing.
Exactly. Very smart play. She's well aware. She's got a great volleyball IQ. She can see the court in front of her. She's not just reacting. She is aggressive in making good decisions.
Pac-12 all-freshman team last year, Riley Buechler. Truman goes again. Explain to me why is it that Truman is becoming such an option? Is it something about what they're taking away, or is it more about that's just Utah's choosing to go?
Well, I think they'd like to get Truman going, but you know she's getting most of her kills on quick sets. And so in order to do that, playing the opposite position that she is, it has to be a perfect pass, because for her to come around in front of the setter, she's got to have a lot of time.
Jordan Anderson is to go long, and Utes try to stay alive in set 3. Still down by 7 here, 21-14. Jorgensen. And Nye put hand on that swing from Claire Felix. Not to handle.
Claire Felix again with her 6th kill. Most of those have been on that slide swing. She does such a nice job moving along the net, hitting that ball with perfect vision of the court in front of her.
Here comes Katoa, and she got that off the hands and into an open spot. Eliza Katoa kills.
Katoa is showing great control. You can see the roll shot just off the hands into that sharp cross court. And that was open because the off blocker for UCLA had pulled it for the tip to get that tip just over the blockers.
Second kill of the night for Eliza. Chandler jump shots to Anderson. Utes send it back again to Jordan through the hands. Third try on the rally for Jordan Anderson, and finally a sigh of relief as she gets it down.
Well, you could see she didn't have much left in that rally. Her vertical jump wasn't there. She was very, very tired, but that actually helped her because it was difficult for the block to gauge when to jump, and she was able to find that seam.
Played for TAV, Texas Advantage, out of Fairmount, Texas. Jordan Anderson played her first couple years at West Virginia collegiately. On sample in the TAV program in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Set point now rises for UCLA as they have pretty methodical here in set 2 and set 3. They're hitting at 400 in this set after hitting 423 in set 2. Really turned it around after a flop of a set 1. And into the block it goes, and I can't get it through the Bruins, and the Utes going to be pushed to the brink in set number 4 after Utah got the first set. UCLA runs away. They won set 2 25-12. They win set 3 25-15. Bruins on top 2-1. Pac-12 volleyball presented by Tachi Kara.
Was younger coming.
UCLA dropped set 1. They ran away with set 2 and set 3. UCLA up 2-1 as we move to the 4th set. And for the Bruins, a match-high 15 kills, Jordan Anderson.
Anderson a little slow getting started, but came out in set 2 and 3, really getting the job done. She was able to move around her kills, going off speed down the line, very successful.
Blocks, match-high 4 for Jenny Frager.
Frager moved so well along the net, and that really was problematic for Utah because they lost confidence with that big block in front of them.
You see on the stats, 8 blocks for UCLA as a team, 6 for Utah. The Diggs, 41-31. We're getting some pretty good floor play tonight. And 223, the hitting percentage for UCLA, but that is really skewed because in set 1, they hit, negative 53. They've hit 423 and 400. In sets 2 and 3 get back to at least a respectable mark.
Right, the offense for UCLA really starting to come together, starting to roll. And because they're able to utilize so many different players on the floor, the Utah defense is struggling to get anything going out of transition.
Junior from Rancho Santa Fe, California, number 10 right there at the net is Jenny Frager, and she is tailed, as you saw, by Jordan Anderson, the All-Big 12 performer last season. The blocking scheme signal flashed. Is it going to work out? Oblad on a miscommunication with Jen Jorgensen.
Well, you can see Utah wanted to come out and establish the middle as well. Get that middle going, and that will keep the block. Frager, who's been so good and active on the pins, that will make her think for a second if she's got a middle blocker that's an offensive threat.
First point goes to UCLA in set 4. Anai crushed it. Formico dug it up. Block is out of bounds. Jordan Anderson used the hands. Nice dig by Formico for .2 for Bruins.
See Anderson raising her sights a little bit. She recognizes she's got a big block in front of her, and so she's going to swing high and try to use those arms rather than go right through it.
Number 11 in the libero jersey says her favorite player, Carrie Walsh-Jennings, also her cousin, Taylor Formico cousins. Carrie Walsh-Jennings, swing for Nye. Have a little fun with that one, falling away. Drills it.
So kind of ping pong back at the net. Great defensive effort for UCLA, but overpass gets shut right down the face.
That is drilled into the floor. Haley Lawless. 10 consecutive matches now with at least 5 kills for Lawless. She was closer, by the way, at Washington State. In set 1 and set 2, they went to her for .25. She killed to end each of the sets, and tonight another productive night for Haley Lawless. Jorgensen to Anai. Kill is down for Adora Anai. 14 kills. That ties Jordan Anderson for match high honors.
The Utah offense starting to get a little more comfortable. You could see a great swing from Anai. Obviously, the serve wants to attack her from the service line. Make her play the ball. She's able to handle that well and get the kill.
And step in again, Haley Lawless. Had skills at Washington State last weekend, and she's got that same number again now against Utah. Carly Truman gets a good look and finishes.
Carly Truman has the ability as an opposite to really get the ball going. The important things, they've got to get it to her quickly, whether it's coming in front of the setter or running a slide like that. She does really well when the set is fast.
6 kills for Truman. Bushler popped up off the hands. Segan to Sutton. Back row for a 9. Punch up there in the back row by Carly Drolson. How many is that?
Can't even keep track. Every time UCLA needs that kill, that tip over the block bails them out every time, and Utah continues to struggle to get that ball up. You know, I have seen UCLA really hammer sharp cross-court shot. So if you're an off blocker, maybe you want to chill over a little bit and make them hit that ball. At least that allows you to pick up a tip.
There's a void in the defense for Utah, known as a good blocking team, but they've got a problem with their second line. Sutton keeps it alive. Her dig went over. Another tip try. Bushler this time. The block won't let the ball get over the top. That's the key. You either got to stop it there or you got to have back line behind you.
Well, and look at Truman's hand. You can see Bushler's going to try to throw it off of her hands and out of bounds, but Truman really worked to push that right hand towards middle back, and that kept her from getting used.
Now, we had some great looks at some good net play tonight a couple of times. And I did that earlier with the hand turned to guide the block down. There they go again, though, with the hole in the defense. UCLA knows it, and they're using it. That's Claire Felix.
Well, it's not necessarily the back row. It's the off blocker. The blocker who is in the front row, but not jumping.
Yeah, second line of defense, back row, like I phrased it. Somebody's got to step into the second area and make it happen. Segan assist on the finish. Berkeley Oblad back of the net, and Alyssa Koenig for the Utes entered the match. I recall seeing Alyssa frequently yet tonight. She's got a chance to get in. She's going to watch a serve sail out of bounds. So UCLA, after the reel back in 1-point margin, UCLA now up by 2. Off the service error, Taylor Formico, the libero. Again, the team leader in aces on the season. Oblad has had a couple of moments to celebrate being big at net. That is powerful.
That was a textbook, beautiful slide. Right down through the seam, take advantage of the slow middle coming out to close.
Jordan Anderson gets it low and able to get underneath that. She'll go to the floor, but good finish by Jordan Anderson. Gets 15 kills in the night.
Talking earlier to Coach Mike Seeley, he said he wanted to work with his team about not being so streaky, about getting out and siding out really well and really converting points. And I think they've done that in these last 3 sets. They've been very steady, and that's one of his goals for this season.
Utah trying to get back within 1 with the arm of a 9. Over it came, and a chance to finish for Alyssa Koenig.
Once again, that ping-pong defense just can't be controlled, and the overpass goes to Utah.
Utes serving, working on a high score if they can get it. Block put up nicely. Jorgensen to Oblad. She double touched it on the set. She knew it. 9-7 UCLA as the serve, and the 2-point lead in Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City. Thad Anderson, Amy Gann with you. Pac-12 volleyball presented by Tachi Kara. Inside the largest venue in the Pac-12, 15,000 spectators play seats. Glad you're with us tonight on Pac-12 Networks. Hashtag Pac-12VB. Social media tag, hashtag Pac-12VB. That's all Pac-12 volleyball matches. You can use that hashtag to get in the game. Up by 3 now, UCLA. Outside to 9.
Utah really passed a lot better in this 4th set, and that's enabled them to get their offense going. You notice how quick that ball goes outside to a 9. That's her favorite shot. She would like that ball to be quicker to the outside. When the pass isn't there, then the setter has to slow it down, and she has to hit a higher ball.
40th attack of night for Anai. She has 15 kills. Jordan Anderson exactly the same, 40 attacks and 15 kills. On this go-around, UCLA goes to the option of Haley Lawless, and she is rejected.
Utah getting in on that block. Adora Anai doing a great job to seal off that hole in the block.
Kendall Segan served it up. Bushler, it's popped up. Anai busy here in set 4. There's Segan right in position, and Anai finishes. The tip, Segan was all over that.
Segan was all over that play. She made that adjustment to come in and get that tip over the block that they were able to transition. Now for UCLA, now they know she's going to pull up on defense, that a deep line is open for UCLA to hit into.
Psychology major Fred Miner spent last summer in Grenoble, France, did kill Segan, who just served it. Adora Anai is on fire. What do you think? Timeout here for UCLA, maybe? They got cool Adora off.
Definitely is the hot hand continues to roll. Mike Seeley's thinking about timeout as he looks at the score. Hope his team can get a quick side out here.
4-0 run for Utes. Up by 1 now. They send back this attack from UCLA. The dig is out of bounds. So the kill successful for Haley Lawless, hanging up some numbers tonight.
Lawless has such a heavy ball that even defensively, if you're in position, she could beat you because you've got to be able to control that high velocity swing.
Haley from Tempe, Arizona, a redshirt junior. And there's a solo. Up for the swing went DeYoung, and back it went for Claire Felix.
Claire Felix read that ball all the way. You see her almost committing with her middle blocker all over that one.
Couple of points for UCLA. They get back on top. Outside to Anai. The block works. Again with 2 blockers up. Tried to go around it and missed it.
Well, that quicker set out to Anai works only if the middle is held. Because if you've got a well-formed block and it's that quick set to the outside, it's a lot easier to block.
Tough ball. Truman hung in the air and got it over, and then UCLA couldn't make anything out of it.
Good slide in for that pancake, and hits her arm, not her hand, but hey, it counts, it pops up.
Getting on the ball any way you can. Great effort on the floor, but the point goes to Utah. Anai, tight serve over the net. Block will head wide and finish successful for Haley Lawless.
And this fourth set, very different from all of the previous sets that were so one-sided, with runs being kind of the theme for those. This one, back and forth, both teams playing very steady side-up volleyball.
I just saw Mike Seeley on the sideline. Good patience to let his team figure it out on their own out there. Talked about the potential timeout on the 4-0 run. Dug up by Sutton. And the big swing by Bushler. Coming across and getting down. Swing is good by Claire Felix, and that gets UCLA to their 15th point, which takes us to a break in set number 4. UCLA finding variety of weapons, including that right there, Claire Felix.
Where champions play.
Pac-12 women's volleyball is presented by Tachikara. We've got the ball. You bring the game. In the fourth set, UCLA leading 15-12. Bruins can close the match here as they lead 2-1 in sets. And the most recent version of the AVCA poll, the top 10 look like that. USC undefeated, sitting on top. Arizona State also defeated. Washington, Stanford. You got 4 teams in the top 7 out of the Pac-12.
And every single weekend for these Pac-12 teams, you talk about it, the best teams in the nation beating up on each other. But what's great about it is by the end of the season, all of the Pac-12 in top form, ready to go to the NCAA tournament. Last year, a record 10 teams from the Pac-12 made the NCAAs.
Bushler, Tess Sutton having a good defensive night for Utah. Truman missed on the try to get it back around the pin. Looking at that AVCA poll, Stanford ranked number 7 with an 8-4 record. They've had a gauntlet of a schedule. They'll be here next week on Friday night. We'll be here for that, Pac-12 Network. So 3 matches in a row for Utah look like this. UCLA ranked 12, USC ranked number 1, Stanford ranked number 7. That's the one in the Pac-12. UCLA gets another point.
Welcome, freshmen. Let's learn the game.
Sees you up. Timeout by Beth Lanier. You saw her give the P sign. 6-1 run. Utah ran off a 4-0 run, took the lead, and UCLA answers right back. I mentioned earlier about the fact that UCLA is experienced. They lost a lot from last year, but they're a more senior team, a more veteran team than Utah. Kind of seen that tonight after Utah got that set 1 win, an emotional bump. UCLA, their coach said nothing to them for set 1. He said, get back out and play. They hit 400 back-to-back sets, 2-3, and they've got that lead. 17-12 is the score. UCLA in this timeout call at Utah, working on a way to finish it in 4. Here's some recent happenings in the world of NCAA volleyball. 4 of those teams in the top 7, like we talked about. USC and Arizona State, 2 of 3 undefeated teams. Kansas, the only other one. Macy Gardner, Offensive Player of the Week in the Pac-12. Defensive Player of the Week, De'Ara Simpson from CU, and Freshman of the Week, Haley Hudson from Stanford. Haley's second Freshman of the Week honor in her freshman year. So that's going on around volleyball. And you see those 3 undefeated teams, Kansas and 2 Pac-12 teams. Penn State, not undefeated anymore. Nebraska got him, and then Nebraska turned around the next day and got beat by Ohio State. We talk a lot about how good the Pac-12 is, and it's real. But the Big Ten, they're also mighty.
Oh, very, very good. And you saw USC and Arizona State. One of those teams isn't going to be undefeated for long. Those 2 teams meet next week, so one of those is going to go down.
Riley Bushler tonight. She's second on the team this season in aces and kills. She's a go-to, and tonight she's got 9 kills, 6 digs. Riley Bushler, the grandparents went to UCLA on her mom's side. Her dad, Judd, 3 NBA titles, the Chicago Bulls. But did you know also an All-American at Arizona was Judd Bushler in volleyball, Arizona, where he played, and his mom, Lindsay, a standout setter at Arizona. So the lines run deep for Riley Bushler. Dad played with Michael Jordan on those Bulls dynasty teams, and she's playing well tonight. Utah gets out of the timeout and gets what they want. They get a point back within 4.
This is where Utah, though, needs to go on a run of points. They've got to get a couple here in this rotation to try to come back in this set.
Tess Sutton fires it over. Dangerous server. UCLA handled her, and they get back in the void. Sutton came from serve line, tried to pancake that alive. Instead, it's down for Claire Felix.
Very smart play for Felix. That's the first time she's really tipped on that play, and so the defense for Utah was back waiting for her to really swing at it.
Segan on the run, gets it to Emma Kirst. She's going to get another try. Back to Kirst on the outside. Block sent back up at the net. Felix was there along with Ryan Chandler, the setter.
Felix moving well, throwing her arms in, and Chandler just taking that ball herself, being strong in the net and getting that block.
And I received it in the middle. Oblad had to adjust and punch it. Jordan Anderson. Running bump set to Segan won't work out for Emma Kirst, and UCLA getting separation. Now 20-13 is the score. Riley Bush heading to score or to serve, and Beth Lanier not liking the way that sets 2, 3, and 4 have gone for Utes. Pass was a little wide. Truman get it down. She did. Making something out of not much. Carly Truman gets it done.
How that ball even made it to the line. That was a tough ball to read. Everything about her swing set cross court. And then at the last second, she switched up her arm to get that ball down the line.
Jesse Jorgensen. Jordan Anderson got underneath that and sailed it.
Anderson wanted to get on that ball quick, but as it died, she still took that swing at it and couldn't keep it in play.
2015, Utes in a big hole. They've got to win this one to force a fifth. They need Jesse Jorgensen to serve for a while. Serving anymore. Claire Felix sets a new season high in kills. Her previous best against San Diego on September 11. She had 10 kills and now 11 kills tonight, Claire Felix.
And the UCLA doing a nice job with Claire Felix, moving her around. She runs the wide slide all the way to the antenna and then the tight one right on top of the setter's head. And so that is really tough, the defense to pick up.
Jorgensen and Koenig misfired, kept it alive. And Jordan Anderson pushed it into the block. And again, made something out of not much. It goes to UCLA by 7.
Interesting off the set, you can see all of these players, the beach experience that they have in using hands and wiping it outside the court. Just that court awareness really helps in the indoor game as well.
That was the definition of a tool on that last play by Jordan Anderson. Just nothing to do, use hands, and now she sends it over into that gap in defense of Utah. Passing the placement test once again, and UCLA forces a Utah timeout. 23-15. Now the count. Watching Pac-12 volleyball tonight. You're going to be able to watch more next Friday. Top 25 women's volleyball match on Pac-12 Network. Continuing to pursue a historic season. 14th ranked Arizona into Poly Pavilion taking on these number 12 ranked Bruins. Coverage begins next Friday, 6 o'clock on Pac-12 Network, or watch on Pac-12 Now and pac-12.com. Next Friday, we'll also have more Utah volleyball for you on Pac-12 Networks, taking on Stanford. Talking about Riley Bushler and her maternal grandparents, UCLA students back in day. Judge Bushler, 12 years in the NBA, volleyball All-American Arizona. The family ties are broad, deep for the Bruins. John Brody, quarterback the 49ers forever, and Chandler, her grandpa. Maddie Kleinman, or Sister Alex, a 4-time All-American at Stanford in volleyball. Mentioned earlier too that Harry Walt Jennings is the cousin of Taylor Formico. And the list kind of just keeps going on of the bloodlines. And in this centennial celebration for the Pac-12, the 100th anniversary of the Pac-12, you see those deep roots of grandparents, and it's going on a long time. There's Ryan Chandler. Her favorite, among her favorites, one of her favorite things, the favorite basketball team, Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr, who played with Jud Bushler, and now Steve Kerr, who is a parent at her high school, Torrey Pines High School. All those ties of the friends in Torrey Pines High School who are now playing at the college level. So you know, all these interrelations going on, it pays some dividends. And you know, Michael Seeley, he's no dummy. He knows where to go get him. Jordan Anderson swings it, talking about the Big Ten being powerful. That's where she played last year at West Virginia. I think that was in the Big 12 of course last year. Big 12's got some soft volleyball, and Jordan Anderson sends that away. It's 24-16. Utah down by 8. They'll serve it. Kansas out of the 12 still undefeated. I know that caught your eye a little bit earlier. They're 16-0. It's the Big 12 going to put forth some teams want to make a little noise this season. Jordan Anderson works the line, and UCLA takes point 25 as they steamroll through sets 2, 3, and 4. That was impressive after dropping set 1, 25-17. UCLA didn't even get to the 20th point in that first set, but they completely flipped the script in sets 2, 3, and 4 and take it 3-1 tonight. UCLA gives up only 12, then 15, then 16 in the last 3 sets, and Utah goes down their 4th consecutive loss for the Utes and their 7th loss in their last 9 matches. Utah on a bit of a skid here as they work their way into Pac-12 play.
Right, Utah wanting to come back and just learn and get better each time. UCLA made a great adjustment, like you said, to come back in those last 3 sets. They played strong and steady and in control.
If UCLA winning tonight, USC will be here on Sunday. Doesn't get any easier for the Utes. The Bruins take it night. For Amy Gant, our entire production crew, I'm Matt Anderson. This has been a production of Pac-12 Networks. Pac-12 Volleyball presented by Tachi Kara.
We now join this program already in progress.